Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Doug's vlog. And of course Doug just finished up a powerlifting meet, and you guys saw the results up on Facebook. So we started his week off with a floor press, right? Floor press. He ended up getting, I believe, 345 for his max on the floor press. Again, we're very, very happy about that. It's exactly what we want to see. Again, so close to what he just hit in competition on his bench. It's 7 pounds lighter than his bench press. All right. He, of course, did floor press for reps afterwards, but he didn't get it on camera. He apologized to me. There's a few of his lifts we didn't really get on camera. But one of the things that Doug usually does, he's just like, I do the JM presses on the floor on days you have me do floor press because it's already set up. I hope it's fine. And I've always told him, yeah, it is. I've done the same thing in my own blogs for people who remember me doing that sometimes. I've been known to do that. Again, since it's already set up down there, no harm in doing so. All right? Done it pretty often. Okay, so afterwards, of course, he does back work. So we do additional pressing, then we do the tricep stuff, and then, of course, we do back work. So right now I have him do one-arm dumbbell rows on his upper body days, and I'm having him do some pull-ups on his lower body days just to get some extra back work and get stuff in traction. Although Doug's lats tend to be pretty strong. His back is very strong, his upper and middle back very well developed. He's pretty good at weighted pull-ups, so that we don't do them anymore. I have him mostly do body weight stuff. All right. Of course, after that, we do some shoulder work, and he's been using this, I guess, this device he has. He had also asked, can I do this instead of the dumbbells? Sometimes I'm like, sure, I think dumbbells are probably better, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's like I've said before in some of the other vlogs for some of the shoulder work, it really isn't that big of a deal. You know, people start looking for nonsense like, well, if you're going to do this single joint movement, cables are better, or dumbbells are better, or this machine is better. No, they aren't. They're single joint exercises. They're single joint exercises, guys. Unless you've got a specific modality, such as when we do bands, and I would actually like him to do the bands a lot faster. Right? There's specific tendon benefits to the bands we do on this, but outside of things like that, if it's purely hypertrophy, quite frankly, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, it matters very, very little, barring some sort of issue with either overuse from certain movements if you do a certain variation, or certain benefits such as, you know, tendon health that we get from the really high rep bands. You know, it really isn't a big deal. I don't think you're going to see much of a difference as long as fatigue and workload are similar. All right, max effort lower, we did a pen squat. He did 385 off the pen squat, which we're happy with. As most of you know who've ever done a pen squat, you can't squat with your back squat on it. You just can't. And if you can, it's time to go set a big PR. Okay, so additional quad adductor work, we do goblet squats. I will eventually rotate him back over to some single leg exercises, but I like goblet squats. He's got dumbbells, so they're convenient for us to work them in and do them. You know, although since he doesn't have other equipment, sometimes single leg movements work in this rotation, you know, and he's got that safety bar. So that gives us, you know, an easy way to do split squats, step ups, lunges, things like that, if we need to do them. But I do like to use goblet squats, and I rotate them for my lifters. All right, on his max effort lower day, we do pull-ups to get that additional back work in. Not that Doug even really needs it, but I do want to get him to a certain amount of volume on there. However, I think we could make the case for his back development being good enough. We may not need to do this really for long. I may take him over in the near future to where we just simply change it and we do extra lower body work on that day, because his bench is by far his best lift. He's way better at bench than anything else. All right, speed bench day. He doesn't really have a good setup yet for bands or chains. I'm hoping he'll work on that coming up with the bands, because again, he's got a heavy enough rack. I think we can pull it off eventually. So for now, we're simply using straight weight. He does 5x5 on them at the moment. I will adjust that over time. I've let a lot of my people do phases of 5x5 just like I do, and then I take them back over to other work. All right, we do incline benching on his dynamic day. Doug is very, very, very strong at the incline bench. he gets a lot out of it. And when I say he's strong at it, I have put up a clip of him before, I believe like last year, doing a 305 incline bench. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and say once you're in that 300 plus pound range on the incline bench, you're damn strong at it. Particularly for someone like him who's under 200 pounds. He just did his meet in the 181 and we didn't do a water cut. All right, he threw in some pull-ups there, and I think I had him on that day. I may have had him rotated into his upper body day there. And then he does one-arm dumbbell rows, although I did tell him I'd like these at a lower angle. His angle is a little steep on these, and that's fine for certain purposes, but it's going to put more work onto the trapezius, and it's going to take a little bit off the lats when you go to those higher angles, which is fine if you're chasing, additional traps. If they're a higher priority to you than lats at the moment, not a big deal. Just remember that with these different movements as we're doing things, ask yourself, what are you trying to get out of the movement? And that's how we determine angles and things like that on these bigger multi-joint exercises. Of course, this is also compromising his range of motion a bit, if you guys notice. And so I told him I'd like him to get a little lower and I'd like him to get a little more range of motion on there if possible. Then he does JM presses. I've always had, like I said, that love-hate relationship with JM presses. I've gone through phases where I don't like them, don't want to do them. But then I always kind of come back to them because they're just so damn effective. They really are. And even if you do them wrong, a lot of times I do them wrong. I've done phases where I do them super strict, and I do phases where I do them the wrong way and go heavier. And either way, they work. They work. They build bigger, stronger triceps if you go strict, if you do them the wrong way. Just that it creates a different type of fatigue. So again, it's all about what's going on with the flow of your training. All right. After that, he does band press downs. I want to really watch those tendons and take care of his tendons. So the band press downs are going to be a mainstay a bit for him. And I think particularly because he tends to be quite a bit stronger these days at the wider grip bench and the closed grip, do want to make sure the triceps are up to par. Do want to keep them up to par, even though that's generally normal. I still want all my lifters to have strong triceps and strong tricep tendons. It's just better for your shoulders in the long run. All right, dynamic effort lower, it's kind of the same situation. He's doing a 5x5 with straight weight. Okay, we're doing straight weight until he gets a setup that allows him to run accommodating resistance, which I always prefer. But I've had plenty of clients with, squats up over 500 pounds who still really didn't have access to the way to do bands or chains with them in a box gym, and we just ran straight weight. I've done it a couple different times. All right, speed pulls, he's doing conventional. We're staying away from sumo because sumo has been slightly injury prone for him in the past, and we just don't want a relapse of that. And I'm talking on warm-ups. He had got hurt not that long ago doing a warm-up on a sumo. So we just keep them away from him for now. And of course, this time he's going really strict on the reverse hypers, and he said, yeah, he feels it a lot more because we were talking about the swing, and I told him, with this scout hyper, you're going to be limited on weight. Let's worry about quality of the reps and keeping it strict versus stacking more weight on it for you in this case. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.